4 times so that we're going to learn, that we're going to understand. And what we're going to be getting into, right, is the mark of the beast, but we're going to show that as I've been here from in the beginning, and then perhaps we'll make a part 2 to this class, right? Because Adam and Eve, right, being the first to receive the laws, commandments, and statutes, or the rules to run the planet from the Most High Power, they fell trapped, right, into taking on, as we say, the mark of the beast, the philosophies and the doctrines of the other nations. And now we have been given, we have been given a chance, all right, by our King, Yahweh Shai, through the mercy of the Most High, that now we're going to take charge by establishing the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High, and now take on the mark of the Lord. And we're also going to touch on that, because there is a...
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we're going to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the elect. And as you saw it, all right, this particular camp, which you saw who it was, is teaching that the M0B, all right, goes back to the garden, all right, of Eden, dealing with Adam and Eve, which is off, you know. And I'm going to be careful with my wording in this lesson, because we know for some reason when we do response videos to their breakdowns on this topic, a lot of those videos get taken down, okay? Which shows you that a lot of these things are baits and traps and snares for Satan, from Satan, so that we can respond and then Esau can strike our video, all right? But either way it goes, we're set up for the defense of the gospel. So we already know what the true breakdown of what the M0B is, all right? It's already out there, so we don't have to get too technical about what that is. But to say that the M0B goes back to the garden just proves that these men are off and really don't know what the hell they're talking about, because sin has been around since the beginning, all right? But this M0B that the Bible speaks of is something that would ultimately be brought forth at the end of the beast system, in which the beast was not around at the time of Adam and Eve, okay? This particular beast system that we're living in, okay, which we're going to show you in Revelation, the 13th chapter, okay, was prophesied by Daniel, okay, in Daniel, the 7th chapter, to be the final beast that ruled of the heathen rulerships before the kingdom of heaven was set up. And he gave a particular thing that they would do as an indicator of what they would do before they were taken down. All right. And that's where the M0B comes in. Now, this is Revelation 1:1. All right. It says, the revelation of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, which God gave him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. All right. You hear that? Things which must shortly come to pass. So as you read the book of Revelation, and we've already established this, these things that are written are things which would come to pass. All right. That's the first indicator that the M0B was not around at the time of Adam and Eve. Okay. To show unto his servant things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. All right. Now, 1 year, this particular camp says it's the M0B is an embargo. Then it's sleeping with white women. Then it's Solomon had it. Then it's 666 Edomite men who rule the world. Then it was taking up the sword, even though they're at the gun range on particular of their videos. So it just shows you the confusion that these men are bringing. And, you know, in their quest, right, to do the bidding of Satan. I'll say that because as you read the scriptures, the elect, the remnant that will be raised up, will be in total opposition to everything that this devil will be doing here in these latter days. All right. Not telling you it's okay. Not telling you to ignore it. Not telling you it's nothing to worry about. No, they will be hardcore. There will be a hardcore stance against the particular things that this beast would be doing. Now, when you go to Revelation, the 13th chapter, okay, so we've established here that the things which are written, the things that were revealed, okay, because that's what revelation means, to reveal. Let's read it. Let's get the Greek wording. The revelation, the apocalyptis, okay, apocalypsos, ellipsis, okay.
Strong's G 602. Apocalypsis. Apocalypsis.
Okay, laying bare, making naked, a disclosure of truth, instruction concerning the things before unknown. Okay, use of events by which things or states, person hereto withdrawn from view are made visible to all. Manifestation. All right. Now, Adam and Eve in the garden had nothing to do with the M0B, and we're going to show you that. So the things which are revealed unto John the Revelator via, all right, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and an angel that was sent unto him, are things that would be, okay, for the future. Okay. There's rebuke, there's advice, there's a lot revealed unto John the Revelator, who was the last of the disciples to live, and he lived on the Isle of Patmos. And this is where we get the book of Revelation. Now, Revelation, the 13th chapter says what? And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast arise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads with a name of blasphemy. This is speaking of the beast system that we're currently living in. Okay, and it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Okay, now we know that leopard starts with the Greeks, because this current beast system we live in starts with the Greeks, which takes us into Daniel, the 7th chapter. Okay, real quick. Daniel, the 7th chapter. Okay. Daniel sees 4 beasts in a vision. Okay. And none of them go back to the garden. Okay. So after you had the Assyrian Babylonian Empire, okay, you had the Persians and the Medes, and after that came who? The leopard, which is the Greeks. Okay, Daniel 7:6. And after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings, which are the 4 generals that, came after Alexander passed away. Lysimaeus, Cassander, Ptolemy, Seleucid. Right? You go into the book of Maccabees, and it gives you insight into that wicked root, Antiochus, that came out of the Seleucid, as well as other history dealing with that. Okay? Now, that's important in this understanding, because this beast, which we're reading about here in Revelation, the 13th chapter, it starts with the Greeks. And you can even see that in this time, that whole Greco-Roman way is rebirthed into the earth, all right, through this system, all right? Because also, let's go back to Daniel where we were. Daniel, the 7th chapter, the end comes through the 4th beast, which is the Roman Empire, but then it will be rebirthed through a little horn. We don't have to get into all of that, but it's important to understand it, because John the Revelator gives more insight into what that little horn would do. All right, Daniel goes into it, but as you go down, all right, Revelation, the 13th chapter and the 11th verse, which that little horn in Daniel 7 is right here spoken of in Revelation, the 13th chapter and 11th verse. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, having 2 horns like a lamb. This is speaking of America, Babylon the Great. All right, you have their democratic and republic system. Okay, they come as if they're going to help you, but he spake as a dragon, which is what? His draconian measures, which we're seeing all of this happen. You got to understand, what John saw is what we're going through. Okay, before they come forth, I tell you of them. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see here. This is Isaiah 42 and 9. It says, behold, the former things are come to pass, right? Everything that was prophesied came to pass. Okay, it was never prophesied that Adam and Eve received the mark. Now, Adam and Eve sinned by following the philosophers of the nations. All right, but we'll show you why that doesn't make sense. It says, and new things do I declare, before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So the Lord came through on that promise right here as he's telling us of Babylon the Great coming forth. All right, all throughout the scriptures, and it happened. Okay, and now we're here expounding upon these very prophecies, telling you exactly what this devil is going to do, and he's doing exactly to a T. Okay, so, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This is speaking of America. Okay, and we're seeing that draconian measure. You know, they're done with playing the lamb. They're done with acting like they're Christians. They're done with playing like as their political parties meant your liberation and freedom. They're telling you you don't have any freedoms anymore. Okay, it was all a setup. And at verse 12 says, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, okay, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, okay, and that's the Roman Empire, okay. And America exercises all of the power of the ancient Roman Empire, whether you go into the Constitution, all right, whether you go into the political field, whether you go into their worship, okay, their holidays, everything here, all right, romance, Roman numerals, the Colosseums, everything goes back to the ancient Roman Empire, all right. But there's also a dab of the Greeks as well, because it was the Greco-Roman Empire. So you see a lot of the ways of the Greeks here as well, all right. Democracy, okay, that really goes back to the Greeks, all right. But they were at the height of their power as the Romans, okay. But eventually we know the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire fell, but that deadly wound was healed going back to the Renaissance, which started out of Italy. Okay, and since then has led all the way up to America. This is all talking about things that happened from the point John received this vision until now. Okay, this isn't dealing with at the time of Adam and Eve, because as you read down, he's telling you what this beast would do. Okay, he would do great wonders and make fire to come down from heaven. Okay, he would have his technology and miracles would have people all bugged out thinking he was the Most High God. Okay, and he would give power unto the image of the beast. Okay, which when you deal with the philosophies, when you deal with the idol worship, when you deal with the ways, let me say the religions, okay, because when they say the M0B is sin, or like Zabak says, John 3:16, and these different things, though all of that goes into the image of the beast. And when he's saying John 3:16, he's basically saying their breakdown, their Christianity. That's all a part of the image. All right. But remember, as you read the scriptures, let's get Revelation 20 real quick. Well, as a matter of fact, let me just jump to 14. And remember, Revelation 13 and 14 are synonymous. As this man will be trying to establish these things and doing exactly what we're reading about, you would have the prophets out prophesying against it. Okay. Now, this would be their message. This is the message of the prophets who are out preaching his word. Okay. Revelation 14 and 9. And a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice. Okay. And the angel is speaking through men. Okay. Remember, this is the everlasting gospel being preached on earth. And this is happening right now. Okay. For those of you who have ears to hear, when you read Revelation, the 14th chapter, it speaks of Yahweh Shai and the 144, and the 144 have the new song, right? So what is the new song? This doctrine, this gospel being preached. As a matter of fact, when you read up, it talks about these men through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua singing a new song, and how they're virgins, they're spotless, they follow the land. These are the followers of Yahweh Shai. Now it talks about 144, All right. But we know, according to prophecy, according to even this chapter, some of those 144 are currently in the spiritual realm. All right. But as they're in the heavens, the scriptures tells you that they're even crying unto the Lord under the altar. That's in Revelation, the 6th chapter. So we're all one body. We're all, whether some of them are on earth, some are in the heavens, are going to be there when Yahweh Shai comes. We're all still one body. That number can't be destroyed or taken away just because all of them ain't on the earth in this current time. But they all have a particular gospel, okay? And it says here in verse 5, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And then it says, and I saw another angel in the midst of heaven having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell upon the earth, and to every nation and tongue and kindred and people. So this is talking about now, okay? Because the scriptures say in Matthew the 24th chapter or the 23rd chapter, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached throughout all of the nations. And that's what we have the internet for. And then the end shall come. All right. So it goes into the gospel, and a part of the gospel here, when you read Revelation 14:9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image or receive his charagma in his forehead or in his hand. All right. So you have the beast. All right. Which they never break down who the beast is. You have the image. Right. They never tell you what that is. And then you have the charagma. All right. Which you can clearly see what that says. All right. This is the M0B. So the men of the Lord would be directly speaking a message against that in this time. Because when you read Revelation, the 13th chapter, Salakia, okay. When you read Revelation, the 13th chapter, as you read down, John the Revelator sees them, all right, in verse 16, doing what? All right, read it for yourself. Read verse 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive. All right, you see it. You clearly see it. So how is this speaking of the time of Adam and Eve? How could this have been around before Adam and Eve? Sin has been around forever. But this particular thing, charagma, it deals directly with verse 17. So you mean to tell me Adam and Eve had to deal with this, a whole buying and selling, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's only so much we can say, but it doesn't make sense. First of all, how could sin be linked to buying and selling? We even see a system now being put in place to where if you don't do particular things, you're not able to buy and sell. But it deals with something physical. Okay, now the mark of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is what? Being exempt from the judgment. Because clearly, all right, we already know what that says in that chapter, so we don't have to keep reading that. Clearly, it says if you take that, Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image or receive his charagma in his hand or in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture. So basically what they're saying is if you sin, because there's nowhere in the scriptures or nowhere where it talks about repentance for that. No, so if you take it, this is the judgment. So if sin was the M0B, we'd be done. Everybody would be done. We'd be through. Okay, because we all sinned and fell short. Okay? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, now the mark they speak of in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, which ultimately this was given from the foundation of the earth. All right, but things have to play out on the earth as well. All right, Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the forehead of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay. Because a great destruction was getting ready to go on at that time. And that applies into this day. The angels know who's who and what's what. All right. The angels can look, as they're hovering over, they can look down onto the earth and see who's the elect, who's the wicked. They have a whole nother glory than us. But this mark is tawa or thawa. We know tha is the first word or letter in thawawa, Torah. Okay. 1 second here. And it says, desire, mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. Okay. Which ultimately that's what the elect have. But when was that given unto them? From the foundation of the earth. Now we have to come onto the earth and fill our course and go through these things. But remember, the victory was given unto the elect from the beginning. They were exempt from judgment from the beginning. How do we prove that? Let's get that in the book of Ephesians, the first chapter. Ephesians chapter 1 and 3. Blessed be the God, the Father, and the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Hamashiach, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. So that mark of exemption was given from the foundation of the earth. All right. But there's still a story that has to be played out. All right. Like right now. All right. You have particular Israelites who were chosen from the foundation of the earth to be delivered. But some of them could be in their ignorance right now. All right. But they'll hear the word at some point, and the Lord will put a spirit on them to repent. All right. It's all according to however the Lord wants it to happen. But those who he's going to have mercy on is already written from the beginning. And that's synonymous with the white stone here in Revelation, the 2nd chapter. Okay. This is, let's see here. Let me see here. Hidden manna. Let me type that in. I know it's in this chapter, but I don't have that much time. So let me just get to it. This is Revelation 2 and 17. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. And these things are all for those who have ears to hear. There's particular Israelites who don't have spiritual ears to hear and eyes to see. So don't think just because somebody has on fringes and says shalom or that they have the secrets. They may know some things, but when it comes to the secrets, they're all over the place. They don't got it. Okay, and that's why they call us foolish, because when you look up that word foolish in the Greek and you go to the root word, it deals with the mysteries that are revealed unto a particular number of people, man. Order. All right, the tabernacle of David. It's Revelation 2 and 17. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh. Now, those who will overcome, okay, they're already chosen to overcome. It's just that we have to go through our course in this life. We have to come onto the earth and go through what we go through for the story to be fulfilled. Because remember, this is a word. All right. We were ordained for this. Lord willing, we're of that number. And that's the victory. All right. Predestination. It says, to him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna. And the hidden manna in this times is the true understanding. Okay. The secrets. Okay. It's not like you're going to get to the end and then the Lord's going to give you the hidden manna. He's going to give you the hidden manna, all right, in order for you to get through and be justified. The hidden manna is this doctrine, all right? Like Yahweh Shai likened himself to the bread and manna that came from heaven, okay? It's this gospel, the Holy Spirit, okay, which is given unto us in these latter days so that we can fulfill our lot, all right? And I will give him a white stone, which when you go to the, remember John the Revelator is writing, and he's in the Roman Empire. So at that time, in the Olympics, when you finished your race, all right, if you came in first place, I believe they would give you a white stone, right? But also, okay, that white stone is synonymous with that exemption from judgment. Let's prove it. Let's see here. I will give him to eat of the hidden manna and give to him a stone. White. You see, a sign of innocence, purity of the soul. Laukos, okay, brilliant. All right. But also here, let me see here. That stone, Cephas, which is what? That's what Peter's, his name was changed from to Cephas. I believe that was one of his names. I forget. Simon Peter Cephas, but it means what? Rock. All right, rock. Let's see where else that name is written. Ooh, it's synonymous with his voice. But Cephas, let me see here. Mentally to seek after the tokens of a person or thing. But ultimately that stone, we'll just get to the point, and Cephas, forget where that name is tied to. I'll look it up afterwards. It says, in the ancient courts of justice, the accused were condemned by a black pebble and acquitted with white. So in ancient Roman court, if you were on trial, when you were acquitted, you will be given a white stone. So that's all synonymous with the mark of exemption from judgment that's upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that'll be done in the midst thereof, man. All right. So to him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and I will give unto him a white stone. All right, which if you're a part of this body, man, this is your ticket to the feast, you know, which is not something you yourself came onto the earth and got on your own. It was given unto you. It says, and in the stone a new name written. Okay, and that new means refreshed. Okay, so we're gonna get a whole nother vibration, new bodies. The names that the Lord gave us from the foundation of the earth, we'll all have them. All right, it says, which and that also goes into your rank. Okay, because when you go into that word name, see, there's so much you got to get into to really fully understand these scriptures, man. You can't just read the scriptures in English for face value and think, well, I got it. Nah, man. Salakia. That word name is a reputation. There's a lot that comes with that. It's just not, all right, Michael. No, it's more than that. It's like the name of Yahweh, the name of Yahweh Shah. There's a reputation, there's a rank, that goes with those names. So the name Anoma, all right, it says the name is used for everything which the name covers, everything, the thought or the feeling of which is aroused in the mind by mentioning, okay, hearing, remembering the name, i.e. from one's rank, authority, interest, pleasure, command, excellencies, and deeds. Now, we know that being a part of the tabernacle of David, there comes the keys were given unto Peter. And with that comes, you know, that body. After him comes a particular rank, a particular order, all right? And ultimately, within the tabernacle of David, that you'll have, man. And we know it's 144,000. So salvation and everything goes through Yahweh Shai, and the 144. Then you have the large multitude. But, you know, I say all of that to say this. The Spirit had me going to all that. I say all that to say this. There's no way that the M0B could have been at the time of Adam and Eve, based on everything we went through. So hopefully I'll edify. Shalom.